What if every single nuclear weapon on Earth detonated at the exact same moment? Not one bomb, not a regional war, all of them, roughly 12,000 warheads going off at once. Here's what would actually happen to the planet. To understand the scale, you need to picture this. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima was about 15 kilotons. Today's stockpiles include weapons over 50 times more powerful, and there are thousands of them, spread across the United States, Russia, China, and 7 other nations. In the first second, every major city holding a warhead target would vanish in a flash brighter than the sun. Temperatures at the point of detonation would exceed several million degrees, hotter than the core of our own sun for a fraction of an instant. Anyone within the fireball radius would be vaporized instantly. No injury, no suffering, simply gone. Concrete and steel structures for miles around would melt or collapse under the heat and the blast wave that follows a split second later. Within the first minute, the blast waves would flatten buildings for miles in every direction from each detonation point. Hurricane-force winds, far stronger than any storm in recorded history, would tear through what's left of the cities, hurling debris at lethal speeds. Fires would ignite almost everywhere flammable material exists, gas lines, wood, fuel storage, all igniting simultaneously across thousands of locations worldwide. In many cities, these fires would merge into a single massive firestorm, generating their own weather systems and winds strong enough to pull people into the flames. Within the first hour, radioactive fallout would begin drifting downwind from every blast site. This is dust and debris irradiated by the explosion, and it would begin raining down over hundreds of square miles per detonation, contaminating water, soil, and everything exposed to open air. Emergency services, hospitals, and power grids in affected regions would be gone within the first hour, destroyed along with everything else. There would be no coordinated response possible in the areas closest to detonation sites, because the infrastructure needed to organize one no longer exists. By the end of day one, casualty estimates from direct blast effects alone would likely be in the hundreds of millions globally. But the deadliest phase of this scenario hasn't even started yet. It's what happens to the atmosphere over the following weeks. All those firestorms, burning simultaneously across thousands of cities, would inject an enormous quantity of black soot. Scientists estimate over 150 million tons directly into the upper atmosphere, far higher than normal smoke can reach. That soot wouldn't just settle back down. It would spread around the entire globe within days, forming a thick layer that blocks sunlight from reaching the surface. This is the phenomenon scientists call nuclear winter, and it's considered the single deadliest consequence of large-scale nuclear war. Within weeks, global temperatures would plunge by an estimated 10 to 20 degrees Celsius on average. Some inland regions could see drops of over 25 degrees, turning summer into a frozen, sunless winter almost overnight, regardless of the season it actually was. Sunlight reaching the surface could drop by as much as 70% for years. Photosynthesis would collapse across most of the planet. Crops everywhere, not just near the blast zones, would fail catastrophically within a single growing season. This is where the real death toll comes from. Researchers estimate that global agricultural collapse from nuclear winter could threaten over 5 billion people with starvation, even people living in countries thousands of miles from any detonation. On top of the cold and the darkness, the intense heat of the detonations would also destroy a significant portion of the ozone layer. Without it, harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun would reach the surface at levels capable of causing rapid sunburn and crop damage within minutes of exposure. For the first 1 to 2 years, the darkened skies and frozen temperatures would persist. Ocean temperatures would drop too, disrupting marine ecosystems and fisheries that hundreds of millions of people depend on for food. Recovery, if it happened at all, would likely take a decade or more just for sunlight and temperatures to return to anything resembling normal. Rebuilding agriculture, infrastructure, and stable societies afterward could take generations. This isn't speculation. It's based on real climate modeling from atmospheric scientists who have studied nuclear winter since the 1980s, using the same models used to study volcanic eruptions and asteroid impacts that caused mass extinctions in Earth's past. The most unsettling part isn't the blast itself. It's that the weapons capable of causing this exact scenario already exist today, sitting in silos and submarines around the world right now as you're watching this.